On February 24, 2022, Russian forces crossed into Ukraine, signaling the start of the first major conflict in Europe since World War II. Russia expected a quick and easy victory that would end with Ukrainians in Kyiv welcoming Russian troops as liberators. However, Russia found out that Ukrainians was highly motivated to defend their homeland. After a failed attempt at storming the capital, Russia focused its assault towards the eastern part of Ukraine. In the ensuing months, the two sides established a 900 kilometers front that extended from Ukraine's eastern Donbas region all the way south to Zaporizhzhia, except for a counteroffensive in which Ukraine recaptured some lost territory last September. This front has remained relatively unchanged as both sides has engaged in a bloody war of attrition. As fighting slowed down during last winter, the West started sending weapons to Ukraine in hopes of spurring a breakthrough this spring. However, spring came and went without Ukraine launching any significant offensive. As such, Russia still occupies a fifth of Ukrainian territory, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky sees reclaiming this territory as a precondition for any peace talk or even ceasefire. Therefore, after making sacrifices in terms of money and equipment, major Western powers such as US and EU wants to see gain on the battlefield to speed up a potential resolution to the war. Despite mounting pressure, Zelensky urged the West to be more patient, as any premature strike would cost many lives. Despite remaining passive on the battlefield, Zelensky ramped up PR efforts to gain support for the coming conflict. For instance, at the Berlin International Film Festival this February, Zelensky addressed the audience via video and said Russia was attempting to build a Berlin Wall of oppression within Ukraine. In addition, Zelensky showed up at the G7 summit and was seen shaking hands with the Prime Minister of India, which signaled Russia's traditional allies might start supporting Ukraine. On June 4th, Ukraine started its long-anticipated counteroffensive in earnest. However, despite Ukraine officially announcing the campaign, many observers and analysts have noted that Zelensky has refrained from deploying the bulk of the donated Western arms onto the battlefield. Until now, the Ukrainian strategy has been to prod and poke along the 900-kilometer front to better understand Russia's weak points. Ukraine deemed these preemptive strikes as necessary because Russia is now heavily entrenched in many places with bunkers, dragon teeth, and artillery. Therefore, Ukrainian troops continue to use their advantage in being highly mobile to try and trick Russia into over-concentrating in certain positions and then attacking somewhere else unexpected. Without proper air power in the form of highly anticipated Western-donated F-16 fighter jets, achieving its strategic aim of recapturing all of its lost territory will be extremely difficult, especially if Ukraine is hesitant to commit to an aggressive and costly counterattack. More so, the battlefield changes days before the counteroffensive started when Russia blew up the Nova Kakhovka Dam, flooding large swaths of land and slowing down a potential Ukrainian push north of Zaporizhzhia. Knowing that Ukraine could only cross this new body of water after ensuing heavy losses, Russian forces have been able to regroup in Zaporizhzhia, which may prove to be a critical and bloody battle in the future. More alarming, Russia has started moving tactical nuclear warheads into Belarus. On May 25th, Western media outlet reported the Belarusian head of state said that nuclear warheads had possibly arrived in prepared storage facilities throughout the country. As such, the US said the potential of a nuclear conflict is at its highest since the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis. Now, Ukraine must win a war on two fronts. The first being the very little battlefield of life and death with Russia, and the second winning the hearts and minds of the West, who are supporting the conflict with arms and money. If Ukraine loses or stalls, then it's unlikely that the West will have much more patience to wait another year to push Russia out of its territory. At some point, the West will probably force Ukraine to concede in order to return the world to some semblance of normalcy.